Good morning, everyone. This is Christopher D. Greif. Welcome to the Brooklyn Family Support Service Advisory Council Outreach Update. As some of you may see me with a screen acting up right now, as you know, the connections do not work very well due to the weather conditions. So we are just going to mingle around. First of all, to welcome everyone to the Advisory Council Outreach Update. As to remind you all, everyone's microphone should be unmuted, and everyone, as they're coming in, please make sure that you have your paper and pen ready to go as we get ready for our presentation with some great people and some great legends are coming in. As a reminder, as you're coming in also onto the system, please make sure your name and information is on the chat as well. So we're just going to remind everyone, please make sure you do that. Please hold on to your announcements for later on. Right now, we just want to remind everyone the housekeeping rules are very important today. We do have a very big agenda, and we will proceed as scheduled on the agenda right now. Number one, as a reminder, everyone, please, if you have a question with the presentation today, please, one, hand raise is very important. Yes, folks, hand raise are available on your computers. Now, I know some of you are not on the computer. They can be on a tablet or any device. You can also use your chat stations and say, I have a question. I just want to let everyone know that if you have a question, you can also put it in the chat, but please make sure it's on the everyone chat so the both people can see that as well. Second, microphones. I will be muting everyone. The only people should be speaking is our speakers today. Our main chairperson will be speaking later on the agenda to give you some updates, and I will give you our updates for next meeting dates. So will be ready on that as well. Then we will be asking for announcements, and any representative elected officials are here. We will let you do your announcements later on as well. And also remind you, closed caption is available if you go into more, and you can just enable it, and it will be activated. It is available, as we always have it on, as well as the transcript is available also. So as a reminder, everyone, please make sure that all your devices, your papers and pens are ready and enjoying all the great information you're getting today. As a reminder, everyone, please place close attention to this presentation today. So let me move on to our agenda. And as a reminder, everyone, okay. First of all, I do want to welcome everyone to the Advisory Council Outreach Update. I hope everyone is staying nice and dry inside. I know people have been putting on the chat they're having Wi-Fi issues. We understand that. You're not the only one, but I will say this, have patience, relax, because no one else is going to get a chance to, not going to miss it, because we're going to have a great presentation. So today I'm going to introduce, and she can actually share her screen right now. I'm going to introduce two of the most famous people. And yes, they are famous because I already have people saying, we're going to meet the most famous people. Yes, you are. They are too famous, and they do really work very hard. First, I'm going to introduce the first ladies first. I think Reginald will agree with me because I know he's shaking his head by now. First, we'd like to introduce Sara Bahri, Systemwide Accessibility. Sara, some of you all know Sara very well. Anywhere you see her, she's on the case. But she does work very hard with system-wide accessibility. She's a strong, not just an advocate, but a strong person who really keeps the transit accessibility up. And joining with Sara is our legendary Reginald J from Reduced Fare Metro Cards. Both of them are going to give you guys a great presentation today. So as I remind you, please listen very closely as we move on. So I give the both people, let's enjoy our great presentation. Sarah, Reggie, you're on.
Hey everyone, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we could.
Hi everyone, my name is Sara Bahri. I work for the MTA under MTA Accessibility. I'm the Senior Outreach Coordinator here, and today I will be walking you through accessibility at the MTA currently, and then we'll also go into OMNY for reduced fare. But I'm going to kick it off to Reginald, who will introduce himself and get started. Start the presentation.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you for having us. Reginald Barron with New York City Transit Mobile Sales. We are the outreach program for the reduced fare mobile Metro card. And just to give you a brief overview before we get into the presentation, there are the vehicles that travel around the 5 boroughs and Westchester County to assist with the reduced fare application process and reduced fare Metro cards. Okay, so the reduced fares eligibility is for those who are 65 and over, and for those who are under 65 with qualifying disabilities. It can be used on New York City bus, subway, a NICE bus, Westchester County bus, and Long Island Railroad, Metro North, and Staten Island Railway on the off-peak hours. Okay, and there are methods of payment where you can actually use the MetroCard vending machine or mobile sales at the surface. Okay, renewal happens every 2 years. So the important thing is to have your address current on file with the MTA, because the reduced fare card is mailed as long as you actively use it. That means you need to dip it in the bus or swipe it in the subway, and the replacement will come to the address on file. Okay, and if you can see the screen now, these are the services that are offered at the mobile sales vehicles. Again, you'll get application assistance. You can transfer balances from an expired card to a replacement card, again, which I explained comes every 2 years. You can exchange the damaged card for a temporary card, so there's minimal interruption in your travels. Okay, you can report lost or stolen Metro cards, and you can ask general questions and get travel related information from the mobile sales team. Okay, we ask that you view the website often in case there are changes to the schedule, but most of the time the schedule is pretty static. Please note that there are certain holidays that the mobile sales team does not operate. Okay. Sarah, there's the next slide. Let's see. Just to give you an idea, these are the Brooklyn locations. We have the locations broken up into 5 boroughs, and you will be able to see which location is convenient for you. Again, if you need to obtain the Westchester sites, you would have to contact the Westchester DOT, and they'll have it listed on their website. Okay, so these are the Brooklyn sites, and the next slide would be, am I able to change? Bronx, and the next one would be Queens. Next would be Manhattan. Sorry, it's so scrunched because it's such a comprehensive list. And the next one is Staten Island. And next is, again, the website link is right there so that you can obtain these scheduled locations. Again, we may go to a site regularly each month so that we could provide services right on the surface, and we cater to the reduced fare audience. And next one would be this. Well, that's my section. So there are ways we will assist with the application process. We are referring everyone to the website so that you can, maybe even there are ways to download the application as well. You can apply beginning online. So if any information, we encourage you to come to mobile sales and we'll provide you that assistance. Okay, so I will turn it over to Sarah. And I believe later on there'll be time for questions and things like that. So Sarah?
So Reggie, do you just want to take questions now since I know you have another meeting?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm available for questions now, if that's okay with the.
That's okay with me. Because
Okay.
there is a question for Reggie
That's
here.
okay with me.
Yeah, Reg, there is a question here that was brought up. And Sarah, this is also maybe related to you too, Sarah. Question is as we are doing the getting ready to switch, and we do follow the instructions that you Reggie told them. The concern they're having is if we have to update our information, but we don't want to change our picture, can we still go to the vehicle?
And what is the question that Chris is asking is page 1 of either the senior citizen application or people with disability application. There is a new section at the very bottom for email. Yes, you can provide us your updated information and submit it to the mobile sales vehicle. My team is ready for acceptance of that information, and we will provide it to reduce fare so that we have an additional form of contact for you, which is the email now that we are incorporating into the into our database. So thank you for bringing that out, Chris.
Yeah. Second question, because I'm reading on the chat here, and unfortunately, I have to remind people to please put the chat with everyone, not in the private chat today, please. Thank you. Reg, the question is some people, one person is actually saying thank you to you, Reg. 1 second before I continue. Excuse me, whoever has their microphones on, the only one should have a microphone on should be Sara Bahri, Reginald Barrett, and me. I'm going to remind everyone to please keep your microphones muted. Thank you. And we'll remind everyone, please, if you have a question, if you're having trouble not raising your hand, please put it in the chat. I'm sorry, Reggie, let me get back to the question. The main question they're saying is, Reg, they want to say thank you to you on, when they go to the vehicle. It is a little more easier for us to get there.
Okay.
So just letting you know, they're saying thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
And that's all I have on the chat end. Does anyone have a question for Reginald Barron?
Oh, thank you, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do need additional information, Chris and I work closely together. You can send that information to him, and I will address it immediately. Okay. Okay.
Alrighty, so I will go ahead and get started. And everyone can see my screen, right?
Uh-huh.
All right, so we're going to go into MTA's accessibility updates. So the agenda for my presentation is we're going to get into the introduction to MTA accessibility, who we are, the priorities for MTA accessibility, accessibility at the agencies here at the MTA, and then we're going to jump right into OMNY reduced fare. But before we jump into OMNY reduced fare, I'm going to stop after the accessibility portion because it is a lot. I want to get in any questions before we move on to OMNY. So the MTA accessibility. So our team was created in 2018 at Transit. So we only oversaw, when we were at Transit, we only oversaw subways, buses, and paratransit. And in 2021, through transformation, we are now at headquarters, and we oversee accessibility across all of the MTA. So that includes the railroads, buses, subways, paratransit, headquarters, C&D, basically all of the MTA agencies. And the team is comprised of Kwamel Arroyo, who is our Chief Accessibility Officer and Senior Advisor to the Chairman. We have Rachel Cohen, who's our Deputy Chief Accessibility Officer. We have Yuvraj and Howie, who are both our Senior Accessibility Officers. There's myself, who's the Outreach Coordinator, and then Mira, who's our Senior Analyst. So we are a small team that oversees accessibility at the agency, and we're going to jump into some of our initiatives and establishing our priorities. So in establishing our priorities for the year of 2022, we really wanted to focus and organize our work around 4 pillars. And these pillars and any respective projects that come along with the pillars that we're working on really were based in part from feedback and recommendations that we've received from our advisory committee ACTA, but also the community at large. Our team is heavily engaged in communications with the various disability organizations and groups and advocates, and we constantly talk to them regarding issues that they may face utilizing the system, things that they would like to see changed, anything that we can increase accessibility at the agency. We feel that the accessibility community is our partner in championing to enhance accessibility. And that's basically how the team's priorities came about. And the team here really does believe that accessibility is more than the ADA, and that while the ADA is a great starting point, we know that it does not meet the needs of all of our riders. And so we, as a team, strive to meet the needs of all of our riders and always try to go above and beyond what the ADA requires. So what are our pillars this year, right? What are we hoping to achieve? What are we hoping to work on? And so for the year of 2022, we are hoping to establish uniform design standards across the agency. When we think about what an accessible station is, when we think about bus stops, and I'll jump into each one of these categories. Also, effective communication is one of the pillars. Employee engagement and resource sharing, huge pillar as well. Excuse me. And then reimagining the paratransit network. So when we were thinking about uniform design standards, we hear a lot about bus stops, and especially with the bus redesigns happening right now, of course, accessible bus stops are a hot topic. So one thing that many people don't know is that we actually do not control bus stops. We just control the bus network itself, and all bus stops are actually maintained and are the property of the DOT. So DOT is responsible for, making sure that bus stops are accessible, making sure that there's bus shelters. All of that comes from the DOT. It does not come from the MTA. And so we're hoping to work, we are working with our partners at the DOT so that we can establish goals and standards for increasing the number of bus stops across the city, especially through this redesign, trying to figure out if there are any synergies and getting funding for the DOT to ensure that our bus stops are more accessible. And then we're also going to work with our agency heads here to make sure that we have consistent and comprehensive sets of standards for subway and rail stations in all MTA capital projects. We want to have a uniform standard. We don't accessibility or accessible stations. There are certain accessible stations that have an additional accessibility feature that one station may not have or a rail station may not have, and we're trying to move away from that to make sure that it's all uniformed, that there are the basic features that need to be in every single station, whether it's a subway or a rail station. And then, of course, for rail stations, they'll have additional features that they need, and for subway stations, they'll have the additional features they need. But really setting standards for subways and rail stations so that there's consistency across the board, and that everyone knows exactly what should be in those design standards. We're also going to be in the very near future, we're going to be gathering feedback from the community on the R211 subway cars, and really just advancing accessible cars on the commuter rails, making sure that we're getting feedback on the new R211s before we work to put in a new procurement for the new rail cars. We want to make sure that, excuse me, we want to make sure that this is moving forward, that the community has a say in the design of the R211s, the configuration, does it work? Is there a lot of space? Is the signage clear? Is communications on these trains clear? So that's going to be coming later on this year. And of course, if anyone is interested, I put my email in the chat. You guys can reach out to me directly to be added to the list of testers. For effective communication, we want to advance pilots for wayfinding. Right now, we actually have a pilot, the Navalens pilot that is happening on 23rd Street. Navalens is a wayfinding app for blind or low vision users, using QR codes and an app where it basically will direct them to the nearest subway station or the nearest bus stop. It'll also give bus arrival times, train arrival times. We also tested Navalens at J Street. And you can go, and I'll send a link to our website. I'll put it in the chat where you guys can go and check out all of this information as well. Another thing that we're working on is ensuring that we have elevator status information available across the system in audio and visual formats. So one thing that we used to have to do was just have it on a web page, but now as you go into the system at accessible stations, on our CICs, which are the big screens that are in the system, they have customer information screens, and there it lists out any station specific elevator outages that may happen, and also at PA announcements for this is an accessible station or the elevator at the station is out. So we're working on that, and we're going to continue to work on that to ensure that the information is presented in a manner that is both in audio and visual, and customers are able to access that information. We're also looking to explore innovative ways and solutions for our deaf or hard of hearing customers. You know, a lot of times when we're on the subway, there used to be a canned announcement, which hopefully no one hears anymore because we worked really hard to get that removed. But it used to say, you know, listen up for train crew announcements. And if you're a deaf or hard of hearing customer, that is not a very helpful statement. So we're working to explore solutions that will be able to give folks, you know, text or notification of an announcement that's being made. So we're just going to continue to explore that. We are exploring Bluetooth, hearing loops. So there's a few different solutions that we're looking at. And of course, we're engaging the deaf or hard of hearing community together to try to figure out the best ways to find the best solution that works for everyone. Because again, we know that disability is a wide range and it's a spectrum, and it's not a one size fits all solution. So we definitely are looking at multiple solutions there. So when we talk about employee engagement and resources, we are right now on the verge of rolling out a mandated one MTA disability etiquette training, and it's going to be a rigorous training that is mandated for all employees, not just operating personnel. So all of our operating personnel receive a rigorous ADA training, but this training will be in addition to that, and it'll be given to all staff. So all 70,000 employees will take this training, and it goes into a lot of etiquette, but not only etiquette, it also talks about colleagues at the workplace, interacting with colleagues, accessibility features. So it's a rigorous training that a lot of employees have not had previously. So we're really excited about that. Another thing that we're going to be doing is we're going to be enhancing training and resources for all of our customer facing personnel at the agencies. So about pre-COVID, we revamped all of the bus operator training to make sure that complaints were factored in, that the disability community had a say in terms of what we create for the videos, for the actual training materials. And we did recreate some videos for them. And with those videos, we had advocates in those videos to share their experiences. And so we're hoping to do that same thing for the railroads, given that we've just come on board. For all MTA, we're going to be looking at the railroads. We're going to be taking a fresh look at subway training. So a lot is happening around operating personnel and the training that they receive. We're also going to be working with internal and external stakeholders to provide resources for employees and ensure that employees have everything that they need when we talk about accessibility and disability. Doesn't matter whether you're operating or non-operating, we want you to have all of this information, and realizing that a lot of you guys may not know what operating personnel are and non-operating. So operating personnel are, people that are in the field, our conductors, our safety agents, station agents, wayfinders, cleaners, anyone who's in the system there to assist customers are considered our operating personnel. Bus drivers, bus supervision are all considered operating personnel, and non-operating would be our office staff. So when we talk about reimagining the paratransit network, the paratransit team has a new leader, Chris P., who came in he used to head up Uber's global policy, and now he's the new vice president for Accessoride. And we're going to work with them to improve the service and really just reimagine how the system works now and how we can enhance it and make it work better. And we're going to also work with Accessoride on the rollout for OMNY Accessoride. And we're going to continue to work with them. I know that they're starting a pilot soon. So right now they're in the onboarding phases for their pilot. And I'll get into what we're doing for reduced fare, but we're kind of working simultaneously with them to make sure that, if there's a parallel and the information that's related to Accessoride customers is effective, it's communicated in an effective manner, and same thing for the reduced fare. So I know I'm giving you guys a lot. Let me know if you guys have questions, if you guys want me to slow down, but we're going to jump into...
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
This is Chris. Can you make the screen a little bit bigger now?
What do you mean?
You're on the other screen. Can you switch screens to...
Okay. Yep. Let me stop sharing. I'm sorry. I did not...
No. You're fine when you're sharing screen. It's just that if you had a switch, you can switch it from the bigger screen.
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
Yeah.
Let me just, because I have two monitors, so I just need to switch the monitor that I'm presenting.
Yeah.
Yep. So everyone should be seeing is it in full screen now?
We just see you and everyone else's faces.
Uh-oh. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Okay. Bear with me, guys. I'm trying to get it. Sorry, guys, because I have two monitors. Sometimes
It's okay, Sarah.
There you go. Okay. Can everyone see the full screen?
Yes, it's good.
Okay, perfect.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Chris, and apologies everyone for showing.
And yes, I can see it too, Sarah. It's Debbie.
Perfect. Okay, so accessibility at the MTA. So where are we today in terms of accessibility? So right now, Long Island Railroad has 111 stations that are accessible out of their 124 rail stations. And New York City Transit has 139 stations out of our 493 stations, subway and Staten Island Railway stations. Metro North has 84 out of the 124 stations accessible. And on our buses, our full fleet of 5,900 buses, local, select, and express buses are accessible via ramp and lifts, or lifts on express buses, ramps on local and select bus. And we also provide audio and visual information on all of our buses. So our current commitment for increasing accessibility. So as part of the capital plan, we had a historic capital plan with $50 billion or along those lines. And the MTA is committed to making 70 subway stations for transit accessible. And really the goal is that all of our passengers are no more than 2 away from an accessible station. So at any point when you're accessing the New York City transit subway system, you should be no more than 2 stops away from an accessible station. There are huge geographical gaps in our system now. And so with this historic plan and the 70 stations, we were hoping, to reduce all of the gaps and really focus on transit deserts and also major gaps in the system. A lot of our accessible stations are in Manhattan. That was created through the 100 Key Station Act. And so we really wanted to focus the 70 stations around all of the other boroughs that we have: Brooklyn, Bronx, Queens, Staten Island. And then also under the same plan, Long Island Railroad will be making 7 new stations accessible, of which 4 were just announced at board. And Metro North is going to be making 4 stations accessible. But both railroads are also investing in enhancing accessibility components at other stations, which is huge and amazing. And we're going to continue to work with them to ensure that that things are being tested, and that features that work are being implemented in the system. So, accessibility in your area. In Brooklyn, under the 2020 to 2024 capital plan, 25 of the 70 stations are going to be in Brooklyn. So we're making 25 stations accessible that have been identified. Some of the stations that have been slated in your area, but of course there's a lot more. There's Livonia, there is Myrtle Avenue, Metropolitan, Lorimer, which is slated to open later this month. It's going to be made accessible later this month, so look out for that. We're going to be making the Broadway Junction complex accessible. There's plans to make Delancey Essex accessible. So lots happening there in terms of accessibility, but 25 stations in Brooklyn are going to be made accessible through this capital plan. So when we talk about accessibility in our system, what does that mean, right? What accessibility features and components do we have right now? So we have both visual and audio announcements in our system. We also have color contrast on our signs. So if you notice that all of our signs are black with white writing, that is for color contrast purposes, to ensure that people with low vision are able to see the signs and also identify what subway lines run at this station. We also have tactile warning strips along the edge of the platform to that bright yellow tactile edge. Most people think that this is to notify New Yorkers, hey, you're too close to the edge, but in fact, it's actually for our low vision and blind customers. That's hence the tactile domes, the little tactile feature. That's why there's little bumps on it. And it's to let them know that this is the platform edge, and you're walking along the platform edge. So we've had instances in the past before the ADA where people who are blind or low vision were falling into the tracks. And so this was to notify them and inform them that this is the actual platform edge. We also have auto gates at all of our stations. Well, all of our accessible stations, excuse me. And the auto gate is what people typically call a slam gate. It is we just recently updated the auto gate policy. So now any individual who needs to use the auto gate has access to it. Previously, you needed to have a special MetroCard to get access to the auto gate. Now, simply, you could just dip your MetroCard or tap your whatever form of payment that you're using on the OMNY reader. It'll open the gate. And when you're exiting, same thing, just tap it. It won't charge you again, but just tap it so that that automated feature of the gate opening without you having to press the bar is there. And this is really, again, for people who are not able to access the turnstiles, and anyone who may have difficulty using the turnstiles. We also have Braille and raised lettering in all of our, throughout the system. And they're usually located on the columns and at the entrances of stations. And it's, again, for people who are blind or low vision to let them know the station name and the train lines that run at the station. You also have induction loops at station booths, and induction loops are really helpful for people who wear hearing aids and have a T-coil. They could just turn on that setting and it'll connect them. They're able to communicate with the station agent without interference. So there's also help points at stations with induction loops as well. That same thing. These help points have 2 buttons. There's a green button and a red button. And the green button is to inform, like for general information. Let's say you're at For example, you're at Grand Central and you need to get to Penn Station and you're not sure how to get to Penn Station, you can just simply press that green button. A live customer service agent will come on and give you directions and assist you. If you need them to count the number of stops for you, they'll tell you, for example, it's 7 stops or 3 stops. Take the one uptown, whatever the case may be, wherever you are in the system, they'll be able to provide you information. If the train isn't coming, what time is the train coming? That button gives you the information. The second button on the help point is a red button, and it's for emergency. So if you're on the platform or you're in a station and there's an emergency and you need assistance, you can press that red button and it'll connect you to emergency services. There's also vertical access, elevators and ramps in all of our accessible stations. We also have an ADA boarding area. Now, a lot of people don't know about this boarding area, but in all of our accessible stations, our subway stations, in the middle of the platform, we raise the platform slightly to mitigate the gap between the train car and the platform. And this is really to help people with mobility disabilities or people, parents in strollers, anyone to board without having to take that big step sometimes that may be in the system. Sometimes the gaps are larger just because train cars are configured differently, but that middle platform near the conductor where it's clearly labeled boarding area overhead reduces that gap so that people can board more safely at accessible stations. And of course, we also have large print maps and some accessibility features on our buses. All of our buses have ADA announcements. We have the digital information screens that provide both visual and audio announcements. So if you have been on a bus recently, overhead, there's these monitors, these screens, and it provides audio information. So it'll read out the stop, like this is Cross Bay Boulevard, connection to the A train, like whatever connections there are, bus and subway connections. And it'll also read out the next stop, but it also provides that in a visual format as well. So for people who are deaf or hard of hearing or people with cognitive disabilities who need to follow along, it's written out so that they could follow along the stops. All buses have kneelers as well, just in case someone cannot take that large step. All of our local and select bus service have ramps, and our express bus has a lift in the center of on the center of the bus. There's also priority seating and wheelchair securement areas on our buses, and our operators assist with providing that space. That is what we have for accessibility at the system. I know it's a lot, but if you guys have any questions, I can take them before we move on to the OMNY section.
Sarah, this is Chris. Just continue, because then we'll get to. There's a lot of people coming in a little late, and they're learning it at the same time. I want you to finish. You're on a roll.
Yeah, I would rather take questions about this section just because OMNY is such a different section, and I see that we have
we have 2 questions. Then I can. There is a question here. Okay, that's not a problem. Let me start with this first question here. Is there a way to know elevator status at a station before I go on my trip?
Absolutely. So we have an elevator status page online that provides live elevator status information. So as soon as an elevator goes out or is reported out, we automatically update that web page. So you can definitely track your trip there. But also if you are at a station, all our customer service screens, those big screens also inform you whether or not elevators at that station are all operating or if there's an elevator that is out. So I will share that link as well. After I finish the presentation, I'll share the link with you for the elevator status page. You can also sign up for elevator status information. So let's say you're at a specific station. You can sign up to get notifications anytime that elevator is out, and then also get notifications. They'll also send you a notification for when the elevator is back up and running.
Second question.
Does that answer your question, Doris?
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Another person, Sarah, I think you know her as well. Is there a valid report on the accessibility lab currently about the survey feedback?
Yes. So we did do survey analysis for the station lab. The survey is not public, but would be happy to chat offline about the feedback results. We did get some really good feedback, and we're moving on some of the positive feedback. We're doing like more testing, more pilots. Nothing is set in stone in terms of moving anything forward, but we did get a lot of helpful feedback. We were able to determine feasibility for some of the features that we tested. Some of them were not feasible, some of them did not work. So we had really useful feedback, but we could definitely chat offline, Sarah. I know that you work for the MTA, so we could definitely share all of this with you at a much more detailed level that we can publicly.
Hand raised, Deborah Greif.
Hi,
Deborah, we don't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. Hi, Sarah.
Hi.
My question is the question/comment. When I get on to the station after I've gotten in, I only now use accessible stations. There are times I can't find the boarding because there are other signs blocking. Can there also be signs placed on like the wall to point which way you should go for the accessible side? I'll give you an example. At Fulton Street is one, and I can't in Brooklyn. Wait, did I say it right, Chris? J Street or Brooklyn. But a few of them are not easy to get on. I can't find it. Also on the 4 and 5. I understand there's a lot, but I will just like there many times when we do come up or down from the elevator, we can't always see where the accessible sign is. So I would like if you could put also on the wall something that says accessible boarding area this way, like when you have when you also have the it's like, they tell me which way the elevator is or the ramp. That would be a big help because I know you can't move everything around, but even if you could get it on the wall, it would be a lot easier for me to find everything.
Absolutely, Deborah, and that's a really good point. So we actually have a weekly standing meeting with our station signage team around signage standards, making sure that, we are placing signs where they need to be placed and that they're guiding people to what they're supposed to be guiding people to. So I will definitely flag this for them to let them know that. But if you do have specific stations, send us the list of those stations. We'll send someone out to take a look. It is really important. We do want people to be able to follow the signage. I know that we've worked heavily to change the signage to try to, better label boarding. So now on signs it says boarding with an arrow pointing which way the boarding is. But of course, if you feel that there are stations that can use improved signage, we'll definitely go and check it out. There's no harm. We want to make sure that everything is what is supposed to be.
Okay, and there's one more. It's okay. In certain stations like DeKalb Avenue, the elevator when I'm coming in northbound, okay, it's before the train goes either on the bridge or in the tunnel. The elevator is in the back. And I would like, if possible, you can also do the, raise that part, especially where near the elevator. Because, like, we come off the elevator, oh boy, there's our train. But I'll have to walk all the way to the middle just to pray I can get the train. And by then the train is pulled out. And I've missed my train or my connection.
Yeah, so unfortunately, we right now do the boarding area in the middle of the platform for very, very specific reasons. Specifically, the conductor can see you, offer you assistance should you need assistance. We've had instances where people, their wheelchair gets stuck and they fall. So if the operator can't see that, that's a hazard and it's a danger. So for right now, we're only doing it in the center of the platform for a lot of other reasons, but it's really, really hard to retrofit all of the existing stations. And then same thing with, educating the public, right? A lot of the public already knows to go to the middle of the platform and check for the middle of the platform. We are looking for solutions to this, right? Whether it's through a gap filler right? So maybe we don't need to raise the platform. Maybe there is something within the trains. We're looking at self-leveling cars that automatically level to the platform, but those are years away. So we definitely are looking at solutions for this. We know that it is a problem. It's not a no. It's just a matter of finding a solution that works and that's feasible in our system, because every single station is different. The configuration, the layout, the way that it was designed, the way it was built. So it's really challenging for our engineers. So we're looking for solutions like materials, or something within the car itself, a self-leveling subway car, or a car that has a plate that can come out. We're looking at different solutions, but we have not found one. And there's no, we're also looking at what other cities are doing, and there hasn't been a city that we can really model.
One other quick question. You brought up about, I know that DOT is the one that handles.
And that will be your last question, because we have to move on.
Right. But can you please send us, who do we complain to in the New York City DOT? Because this has gotten ridiculous. They don't maintain the bus stops the way they're supposed to. So,
absolutely. So there is if you, I can look it up for you guys too, but if you go onto the DOT's webpage and type in accessibility, they have an accessibility officer there as well, with his contact information and contact directly to their accessibility office, that you can reach out to them directly and they'll get back to you.
All right.
That would be the best office to reach out to, would be the accessibility office.
Can you eventually also send that information so we can put it on?
For
Thank
sure.
you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Sarah, we have a question for you on the chat that actually by accident it went to the private one by accidentally.
No worries.
No, I'm just letting you guys know, because some people came in late. So I have to remind people, as you're putting your questions in, please do not put it in the private chat. Please put in the everyone chat. It will be easy for Sarah as well, and Reginald. Sarah, the question is they've been seeing some newer signs at train stations. I'm going to say this is in the Bronx station. They're saying that when they see the new sign, but it's not in the boarding area, it's closer to like going car number 7 instead of being where the conductor is, car 6. This is, I think this is Tremont Avenue she's talking about on the B and D, as it is not ADA accessible at this time. It's almost done being built.
Wait, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Okay.
The station is not accessible, but
No. The station's being built. It's almost done. That's the Tremont station on the B and D.
Okay.
She's concerned about the boarding signs not in the right place. Which
if it's not done yet, so that's the last thing that we do, of course.
Yeah.
Signage is the last thing that we implement. So you're not going to see signage right now. Before that, we will update the signage before the station goes live. But of course, like I said, if you walk that station after it's live and we've updated the signage and you see issues, reach out to me directly and we'll definitely take a look and have the team go back out, reevaluate, make sure that the signs are all in the right place, that they're guiding to what they're supposed to be guiding to.
Yeah. And that's the last. That was the only one. There's no other questions at this time.
All righty. So
now I can say this to you, Sarah. It's Omni reduced fear time.
can everyone see my screen?
Yes, I can see. I'm seeing loading right now.
All right, just let me know when you guys see the screen. Everyone see the screen? Or
everyone's saying yes, we can see it.
Perfect. Okay. So we're going to get into Omni for reduced fare. So let's start with an overview of what is Omni, right? So Omni is the MTA's new fare payment system. It's short for One Metro New York. And the goal, and it's kind of embodies the goal of serving all of our customers right across all modes of transport in the region using one system, similar to the Metro card. We're hoping that is what Omni will serve. or the purpose that Omni will serve. Now, Omni is an account-based system, and it offers more options for how to pay and where to pay the fare. And it's going to replace the MetroCard and e-ticket, and will all only be on Omni over the next coming year or two. So a quick overview. Where did I go? Sorry. Okay. So Omni at the MTA. So currently on subways and buses, there are contactless points of entry readers. So there are what is called a reader that, for contactless, you just hover. So you'll just hover whatever payment method that you choose over the reader. You don't actually need to physically touch the reader. That is what is meant by contactless. You just hover over that reader, and your payment should be accepted. And we'll go into all of that in a second. For reduced fare, there's going to be an addition for an Omni account payment option, and on the actual paratransit vehicles, there will not be a reader, so there's not going to be tapping. It's all going to be done on the back end. For our paratransit riders, they no longer need to have exact cash. Cash will still be an option. I think for a certain point, but I don't think that's been fully decided. But it'll be done on the back end. You can pay your fare on the back end without having to carry cash. On the commuter rail, which is coming later on this year, early next year, it's going to be ticketing with the conductor. Again, there's no readers to tap, and it's going to be rolled out in phases. Omni is being rolled out in phases, and this strategy really allows us to test everything, right? Every step of the way. So what does the reduced fare experience look like? What is the reduced fare experience? So we are going to start rolling out Omni for reduced fare customers this summer. We're hoping to start transitioning people to Omni. We did a soft launch almost a while ago, where we started a soft launch August of last year, and in that soft launch we had participants from the reduced fare user group. We had seniors and reduced fare people with disabilities, and specifically from every disability category represented. And in addition to that, we also had different payment methods and different payment options in this soft launch to really test how reduced fare would work. And luckily we tested, because there was a lot of things that we needed to solve on the back end before we went live, and that's what we're working towards now until the summer launch. And so initially, when the summer comes, reduced fare customers will be able to link either their own debit or credit card, or a device like a phone or a wearable, right? So there will be an Omni card, an Omni reduced fare card later on in the rollout. But for right now, and when the summer comes, we're only going to be transitioning folks using their personal debit or credit card, or their phone or wallet. And when we talk about contactless, when we talk about using their own personal debit or credit card, sorry guys, I'm just trying to pull out, here it is. If everyone can just see my screen really quickly, there's four, it's almost like a Wi-Fi signal for 4 on your card. I don't know if everyone can see that. Stop sharing because I can't see you guys. Can everyone see this icon? It's it's like a Wi-Fi icon, slanted. Can everyone see that? I can't hear you guys if you're saying anything.
Yes, I can
Yes,
hear
we
it.
can hear you. We saw it, Sarah.
I saw it.
Yep.
Saw it.
Yep. So for your personal debit or credit card, if it has that icon right here, then you can register that card if you would like. If you have a debit or credit card that does not have that logo, you can simply contact your credit card company or your bank and ask them for a contactless card, and they will issue you one at no charge. So if you have a personal debit or credit card, or you want to use your iPhone or smart device, then you'll be able to transition to Omni this summer. If not, then it'll be later on this year with the physical Omni card. Now, the physical Omni card is reloadable across all of the sales channels. It expires every 7 years, which is a huge, huge benefit to our customers. Previously, the current reduced fare Metro card expires every 2 years. So every 2 years, you need to wait to get a new one. But now with the physical Omni card, it takes 7 years to expire. And it is a consistent design for all of our customers, whether you're reduced fare or not. And I have a sample of the reduced fare card. So this is what the Omni reduced fare card will look like, if everyone can see on the screen. It looks like the standard Omni card, and on the back, it has all of the information, contactless. The key difference, though, between a regular Omni card and an Omni card for reduced fare is just this designation right here. There is an RF on that card, on the Omni card, that clearly indicates reduced fare. So if you see there's no picture anymore on the reduced fare card, your picture is not going to be on it, but it will have that RF designation to indicate reduced fare. And this was done so that we can have a consistent design across the board for everyone. We've heard a lot from our reduced fare customers that they get stopped a lot for using their reduced fare Metro card, and they're not happy about that. So now with the consistent design, that mitigates that issue, which is great. And this will be available later on this year. So don't worry if you want a physical Omni card, it is coming. Like I said, we are doing a phased approach because we do have over 1 million reduced fare customers that we need to transition to Omni. And we really didn't just want to send everyone an Omni card. We wanted people to have the option, because one of the major benefits of Omni is you can use your own personal debit or credit card or your smart device. So it enhances accessibility for people who may not be able to tap a physical card, may have issues that they don't want to use the physical card, they want to use their own device. We wanted to be able to give people that information and give them that ability. So moving on, for accessibility features. So when we think about Omni overall, one of the major things is the accessibility components that have been added to Omni. We worked hard with the Omni team, and Omni worked with our vendor to make sure that accessibility was at the forefront. It was tested. And the Omni readers all have large text and imaging. There's clear color contrast. There's audio tone. So if your card is not accepted, you'll hear a ding, 2 dings. If it's accepted, it's 1 ding, like 1 little tone, audio tone. And there's also LED lighting around the physical reader so that it's easier for people to locate. The website, the Omni website, is easy to navigate, right? You can use it across all of the channels. We also put minimal animations so that it's easier for screen reader. The customer service is interactive through voice response and automated call distribution. So if you call, you can either press numbers or you can speak. Also, the vending machines that are coming on later this year, they're large text, braille, raised, and they have raised lettering. And there's also audio through headphones, but also there's an external speaker. So if you don't have headphones, you can still utilize the audio on that vending machine, which is something that we currently don't have through the MetroCard vending machines. So this is an added feature of if you didn't bring your headphones or you don't have headphones with auto jack, then you'll be able to connect to the external speaker and still use that audio to navigate the vending machine. So when you tap with Omni, what are you going to see? So when you tap using one of the 3 devices, one of the 3 payment options, your physical credit or debit card, your smart device or wearable, or your physical Omni card. So if any of those 3, you should see it'll say Omni tap here. That's the the intro screen to all Omni readers. If your payment was accepted, you'll see one of these two go options, depending on which way the turnstiles are. The arrows may point differently. And if your tap was not accepted, it'll say tap again. But there's also like, card not read or invalid card. You'll see a red screen. So anything with the red screen means that there is an error and that you need to tap again. If you tap again and it still doesn't work, try one more time. We're telling, try 3 times. If it doesn't work, then we'll say call the Omni call center for assistance or call 511. But you should see one of these screens. Green means go. Red means error, like it needs your attention, try again. The Omni account overall, you'll be able to view your trips and charges. You can manage your travel cards. Now, this is where it gets a little bit confusing. What we call travel cards are your physical card that you're traveling with. So this Omni card would be my travel card. But my personal card, my personal debit or credit card, would be considered my payment method, right? So this is linked to this. This is how I reload my Omni card through my debit card. And so anytime I need value, I'll use my payment method to load my travel card. I just want you guys to be familiar with that lingo. It's a little bit confusing, but it's more to come on that. Also, there will be automatic reloads for your cards through the website. So if you want anytime your balance falls below $5, you can set that up so that it'll automatically replenish using whatever payment method you would like to use. It could be $10, whatever value you set at, you can set that value and it'll automatically reload your card. You're also going to be able to add value to your Omni card through the website, through the Omni account, and you can also save your preferences like your favorite line stops. I feel like I missed a step. I did. Okay. So when we talk about Omni, before we talk about what happens, when we talk about Omni for reduced fare, the key and the major key here is you can only have one card that carries the reduced fare designation. So what does that mean, right? So let's say you have a personal debit or credit card that's contactless, and you also have your debit or credit card linked to your mobile wallet, right? So you would pick one of those forms of payment to carry your reduced fare designation. So if this physical card, if my physical debit card, this physical debit card is linked to my mobile wallet on my phone, I can only use, and I tap my phone first, I can only use my phone and it'll carry my reduced fare designation. If I tap my physical card, it'll charge me the full fare. So that's the really important part about reduced fare. Only one token can carry that reduced fare designation. Everything else will charge full price, full fare. So be mindful of that when you're picking your device. If you want the physical Omni card, you'll only be able to tap the physical Omni card, not the card, not your payment method that's linked to your Omni card. It'll always only be your Omni card unless you request that change. And of course, customers can change their payment method. Let's say they can change their travel card method if they don't want the Omni card anymore and they want to use their personal card. They can do that by just simply calling and requesting the switch. But then that Omni card is no longer going to be valid and you're only going to be able to use the card that you switched to. Everyone follow? So it's a little confusing in this portion.
We hear you. We hear you, Sarah.
Okay.
Yes, Sarah, this is Chris. I can hear you loud and clear.
And everyone's following. It's a little confusing. I just want to make sure that everyone's grasping what I'm saying.
That's the reason why I asked you to be here today, because everyone's got to hear the real facts. Are you ready for questions?
No, not yet.
Okay.
So what happens now, right? So what happens if you have the Metro card, you're a reduced fare customer who has the Metro card, you're interested in transitioning to Omni when it rolls out? What do you do? Or or a MetroCard, you hold your MetroCard now, you're not interested in transitioning this summer, you want to wait, you want to get more information. What are your course of actions here? So we're asking people to fill out the Omni interest form, which is a form, and I'm going to actually pull it up for everyone as well. It's a form. Okay. So it's the, I'm so sorry, guys. It's just like, yeah, okay. So the form is to gauge interest. If you are or not interested in Omni, you would let us know, and you can select the payment method that you are interested in. For now, keep using your reduced fare MetroCard. Hold on to that card, keep using it. And if you tap right now any one of your devices, a personal debit or credit card or your mobile device, you will be charged full fare because that reduced fare designation has not been added. Even if you fill out this form, it's really, really crucial and important that you not tap until we start rolling it out in the summer. You can also go to create an account online at omni.info. Just remember your account login information for Omni because you'll need it later on when we start transitioning folks. And this is my contact information. I'll put everything in the chat, of course. This is my contact information. And one thing I didn't mention that I'm going to mention about the Omni card itself. Once the Omni card is rolled out in later on this year, you can refill your MetroCard, your Omni card at stations. So you'll still be able to get into a station and refill your card. You can do so on mobile van. In addition to the mobile van, you can refill your card at 3 Stone Street, but you could also go now to CVS, Duane Reade, Rite Aid, pharmacies, and other retailers across the system to refill your card. You can walk up to one of the cashiers, give them cash, or ask them to refill your card and use that to refill your card, which is a huge benefit. I know that a lot of our bus riders sometimes have to go into an actual system like a subway, into a subway station to refill their card, even if they don't live near a subway station. It's really hard for our bus riders to refill their cards. So now, if you're a bus rider or not, it doesn't matter. You can go into a CVS or a Duane Reade, a Walgreens, one of the retailers, and we have a retail locator, a retail finder on the Omni website where you can locate in your area where you can refill your card, which is a huge added benefit to our customers. And I'm going to share this screen really quickly to show you guys the form, that reduced fare form. So when you click on that link, you're going to be taken to this page. And if you are an existing reduced fare customer, so you have a reduced fare MetroCard now, you could just simply click, I do have a reduced fare. You'll click continue, and then it will take you to the stay in touch page where you'll provide us your account information, first name, last name, an email address, and and then just confirm that email address. That's what we're going to be using to contact you to transition over to Omni once Omni is ready. We're also asking for your reduced fare ID number. That is the number under your name on the physical, your physical MetroCard, your reduced fare MetroCard. And it's up to 9 digits, and it's always only numbers. And then here you can indicate your interest. Are you interested in transitioning? You can just check this box if you are, and then indicate which payment method you would like. I'm not sure. I want an Omni card. I want my smartphone or wallet, or my personal contact with debit or credit card. If you're not interested in switching to Omni right now, but you know that you want to use your smart device when you are ready, you can just simply click smart device, or you know that you want the Omni card, you can simply click on the Omni card and then submit that. And what happens is that information gets relayed to us, and then we can start transitioning our customers. So the user base, so that we're not forcing anyone to transition, but also making sure that we're relaying information to people as we get it, and information as it comes along, right? So if there's questions that you guys may have, when using Omni, we're able to address those. We're creating a lot of marketing materials to share with the community to ensure that, Omni for reduced fare is clear. People are able to transition and without any issues. And also really have all of the information they need about the different payment methods, and all of the added benefits of having Omni overall. There's so much more that I couldn't get into just because it's a lot. But this is very high level of how Omni is going to work. I tried to simplify it. It seems a lot more daunting than it is. It's actually pretty easy once you move from MetroCard to Omni. It's a seamless transition. I know that Chris was on our pilot for the soft launch. I'm sure he can speak to his experience. I'm sure he shared with you guys his experience. But if not, he'd be a great person for you guys to talk to about his experience overall. I know that he enjoyed using it and didn't have a lot of issues, but it definitely has added a huge benefit to the disability community overall. And that's all I have for questions. Do we have any questions? Yes, I see.
Yes, we have a lot of questions for you, Sarah. So, I know Deborah's hand is up, but she's got to wait a minute because I want to speak
No,
first.
Chris,
So
I
Deborah,
want you to
can wait a minute.
clarify something. Chris,
Hold
excuse me.
on.
Clarify something.
Oh, can I asked. Wait a minute. Thank you. I know Deborah has a question, but I'd like to mention one thing. What Sarah is explaining today, folks, and I have said this maybe over a month already too, and the reason why I want to make sure everyone got this information because as Sarah gave you options, and Sarah, you're agreeing with the word I'm saying, the word options. The options means you're going to have an easier way to keep, not just track of your card or your device, but at least you'll know if something went wrong. You'll also have choices at stores, at train stations, the booth. Train stations, the van, and stores, and at home. This is something we have never ever seen anywhere in another state or the world. So I really hope everyone, if you have a question, please let's say it now, say your piece, because these questions are very important so we make sure we can proceed the procedure. I'm going to start with Debbie, and then I'm going to the chat questions also. If anyone has a hands up, please put your hand up at this time. Deborah, Chair of the Advisory.
Thank you, Sarah. You
Yes.
forgot there were two other people that are also in the soft pilot testing. One is myself, Deborah Greif, and the other person is Mrs. Amanino. She's a member of the advisory council. She's doing for the seniors and people with disabilities, and I'm also doing persons with disabilities too. And both of us enjoy using the Omni card because it's easy to tap, and we like that. In fact, we're also supposed to test it soon on Accessoride. So, and Chris is my PCA, not so. I just want you to know that we have been using this. We like it. At least I know when my card runs out, but I can keep a track on it. But we also appreciate it because it's easy. Just tap. I like the tap. Makes my life a lot easier. And I know Anne is she agrees with me. So Anne, I know you can hear me. Just go, shake your head yes or no. See? She likes it, see. But because it's easier, also because we have people in our world who have trouble with their hands and it's so hard to swipe, but you just tap. It'll be much easier already for it. So I just want you to be aware of that. And I like tapping to have the gate opening up. I only don't like into people trying to sneak behind me to get in. So that's my only main complaint. That's the only thing. And I had that same issue when I had to dip my half-fare AutoGate card into. So I'm just letting you know. But otherwise, it's a great device to use.
Glad that you're enjoying it.
Yes, and they can also contact me. So if anybody needs to ask me questions later, go right ahead. Thank you, Christopher.
As Andrew Albert will say, it's the Greif and Greif Menino. Just like when he calls us the Sarah Rachel Mira moment. Don't ask me, that's Andrew Albert's combined names. Since no one else has their hand up, I'm going to go right to the questions. Dolores It's asking if I already have a, well, I think you already answered the question, but she's asking if I have a reduced fare card, will I have to
Chris,
automatically be,
Sarah already answered that. Thank you. She already answered that.
so
Thank
you
you
want,
very much.
so you got,
I
all
mean,
right.
I do want to clarify, I will clarify one point on that. If you're a current reduced fare customer, you do not need to reapply. And Doris, this is a great question. We get this a
Yeah,
lot.
but
So
do you still need to fill out that form? Should we fill out the form anyway?
yeah, fill out the interest form just so we know whether you're interested in transitioning or not. We're not going to be automatically issuing Omni to customers until we have to. So that's still like a year and a half away. So if you're
Oh,
interested
okay.
in transitioning now, fill out that form, or in the future, I would suggest filling out that form and send it to your friends, family, anyone who's a reduced fare customer. Fill that out. Even if you're the key point here though for that form is that we have your contact information so that we can share with you any new information. Like, we're creating resources and materials about reduced fare. So we want to make sure that it gets in the hands of our reduced fare customers.
As long as I have your attention, once you switch to Omni, you can't use your reduced fare MetroCard anymore.
So what we're saying right now is hold
Right.
on to your MetroCard.
Right.
When you switch to Omni, we're going to let you hold on to your MetroCard because you're still transitioning.
Good. All right.
And then once that card expires, there will be no more MetroCard.
I see. Okay. Once it expires. Thank you. Thank
You're
you very much. It was
And
very,
Laura, this is Chris.
very
Just
good overall information. Thank you.
yeah. And
You're
Laura,
welcome.
as I know Sarah said this earlier, but it's time for an upgrade because we're going to get more options in the future that's going to make it a lot more easier. And certain things that she explained today, you're getting an option that no one else in another state has gone before. Because I know that this was mentioned already at the MTA board. I know it's been mentioned outside. But as I said before, an option is going to be, there are going to be more options that we're getting, that it's going to be a little more easier. And this will be easier for group homes, individuals who are home of their own. Instead of some of the staff have to go all the way to the train station, they can do it right on their computer. They can do it right at a store. The choices are coming in. The word choice is going to be in that vocabulary word now more often. Am I correct, Sarah?
Yeah, there'll be multiple options for people to pay and to select a card. And you can, if let's say you pick your personal card and then the Omni card comes out and you don't want to use your personal card anymore, you want to use the Omni card, you can absolutely just call and switch. So it does add a lot of benefits. It's easier to use. You just have more access overall to you control it much more than, waiting for us to do everything. Like calling us, if you lose your card, I need to wait, I need to call them, I have to, go through that whole process. If you lose your card, you lose your physical Omni card, you just go through the process. You can report it online, you can call. So there's more options overall. Just much more access, I would say.
Okay. Sarah, the other question is that's just pulled it. Well, and I know I have to look over here. Oh, there is one question I will save in the end, but this one is if a person's having trouble, and I know this was mentioned earlier because I know maybe you didn't hear. There is a question that was part yours and part Reginald's. If a person has to update their information, like the front page, and they know normally, some people go ahead and with their, let me rephrase this again. The information you had on the screen that shows people who already have a reduced fare Metro card, they will then send that information goes to the MTA reduced fare division, but then they get a message back saying that their information is not up to date. And I know
What do you mean?
Okay.
So you're getting an email that says your information is not up to date if you fill out
Yeah.
that form?
Mm-hmm.
Can you guys forward that to me? That's not supposed to happen. I know that IT is working on the form right now. There were some glitches with the form, but not supposed to get an email like that. If you could forward that to me.
If I have someone has that issue, I will forward it to you, Sarah. But right now, I don't. That person is not at this moment on. she was on, but she did leave her question on the chat. But just, she's having a little bit of a she has a power outage in her area. So once she gets her power back up, I will tell her to forward that information to you if it still works. But if it does come up again, I will then tell everyone to please email to Sara Bahri on her email, which you did put on the chat earlier as well. Okay, just want to make sure. No, I'm just reading, just double. Okay, does anyone else have a question? Because I know we have, Sarah, just to let you know, we do have two representative elected officials, which is one representative elected officials here. One is from Anthony, who represents Assembly, as well as Charles. I know she was on, but I think she's having Wi-Fi. But I know Anthony's here from Matilda was here, but I'm just going to double check. Does anyone else? Okay. Oh, there's Anthony. Hello, Anthony.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
Good. You have a question for Sarah?
I don't just let everyone know I'm here. If anybody has any questions for the
Yeah.
Assemblywoman, my email's in the chat.
Yeah, and we'll get back to you with the announcements a little bit.
Thank you, Anthony. It's Deborah. Good to see you.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Okay. I hope everyone. Let's see. Oh, and Sarah, to answer Deborah's question earlier, I have the information regarding DOT. That information is on the chat because
I saw, yeah.
yeah. So I just want to make everyone clear that information. Yes, it's actually available. Accessibility at dot.nyc.gov, and I think it's still the same person, Edmund.
Yes.
Yeah. This information is on the chat. It's on the chat already. So please, everyone, if it's a DOT problem, please email. Okay. Okay, wait a second. I just got another one, but this one is okay. They're putting on the private chat. I'm sorry, Sarah.
No worries. Don't.
Yeah.
Yeah, just let me know what the questions are. And
Yeah.
people.
Okay. The question is, Sarah, if I'm a reduced fare customer and I want to transfer from the Omni, means I cannot use the phone at the same time?
If you're a reduced fare customer and you
I
want
want
to transition,
and I want to switch it to the Omni card, but I also want to use the phone.
nope, you can only use one. So that's the key thing with Omni. You can only use one. If you want to use your phone, you would need to use your personal debit or credit card that's linked to your mobile device.
Mm-hmm.
So you
Second
won't be
question.
able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, you won't be able to add. Also, you won't be able to add the physical Omni card to your mobile wallet.
And I like the Omni card better. Second question is, just want to double check this question, because I think this person's kind of shocked. You mean to tell us we can use our reduced fare also on our cell phone?
Yes, that is what a smart device is. So you can use it on your using one of your mobile wallet, depending on the if you're an Android user or iPhone user, it's different, right? So you could have like a Google Wallet, Samsung Pay, Samsung Go Pay, I think it's also called. Then you have Apple Wallet. So you could choose which card you want to use on your smart device if that's what you want to use.
They're saying thank you. Please understand, we're kind of shocked to hear a cell phone. Sarah, they're kind of shocked to tell on that question. That was
we
it
wanted
for those.
to have parity with our regular, we wanted to have parity between reduced fare customers and non-reduced fare customers. So we really tried to make sure that whatever a non-reduced fare customer received, the reduced fare customer receives as well.
Let me just next check. Okay. Agencies who are here, as well as parents or OPWDD, do you guys have any questions before I do that? Because I just saw the person just came back. Cliff Davies from ACS, do you have a question for Sara Bahri? Sarah, just to let you know, Cliff Davies with with the ACS division is one of your big fans. Because he did write a simple question, but I think was already answered. But Sarah, can you put on the chat the link for people to put when they want to get ready to switch from the reduced fare Metro card to the reduced fare Omni choice?
Yeah, it's in the chat now.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's in the chat. I put it in the chat.
Mhm.
The folks can click on that, fill out that form. Please share that link, and just so that we can stay in touch and we can reach out to you guys.
Yeah, and just going to remind people that as we are switching, we're not. It's you have the choice. Oh, here we go. Cliff Davies, you had a question?
No, this has been super informative though. So thanks. No, I don't have a question.
Okay. So you heard everything what she said.
I was cut off from the meeting for a little bit and came back, but yeah, I'm learning. I'm learning. You know, it's a lot to take in, but yeah, it's very good, very informative.
Thank you, Cliff.
Thank you, Christopher,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and thank
All
you,
right.
Sarah. It's awesome.
Thank you guys, and feel free to reach out if you guys have any questions. If you guys want me to present to your organizations, you guys can also reach out.
Sure.
As much of a collaborative effort as we could have for this rollout would be amazing.
Yeah.
Great. If there are no more questions, I have to jump
That's
to
why
an
I'm double checking
11:30.
right now because I know you got to run and we got to finish other business. Does anyone else have a question for Sara Bahri for the last and final one? But then we'll move on
I
to.
have one thing. It's me. I have something.
Go ahead,
Sarah, I want to thank you for what you've done. I also would like to let you know that when I contact DOT about their issues with the bus stops, I will be CCing you so that
Totally fine.
you need to be aware of what's going on.
We're definitely aware of the issues around bus stops, and we've definitely engaged the DOT, and we're going to continue to engage the DOT. One of my new colleagues, Yuvraj, actually used to work for the DOT. And as you guys know, my boss, Kwamel Arroyo, also used to work for the DOT, and they're working in one of his roles as well as being the chief advisor. He's the senior advisor for the chairman, for Chairman Jano Lieber, and in that role, he really serves as a liaison between all of these city agencies and the MTA to make sure that we're working collaboratively, and the DOT definitely falls under that category.
Yes, they do, except they refuse to work with people the way they should.
I will leave that.
I told them to say, I didn't ask for I didn't ask you to answer. You can't answer for what DOT does.
Yeah.
No, let's just move on to that part. It's duty noted, but never mind. Since no one else has any other questions and the time is now 11:28 because we want to make sure we have time for other business. Sarah, I want to thank you. I know Reginald had to run to another meeting. He knows I know how to find him. But as again, a reminder, everyone, it's the information is on the chat. If you need to reach Sara Bahri if you want her to come to your organization to do a presentation, please make sure you look for her email, and as well as not just her email but accessibility email as well. So therefore that everyone can get all that good information. And remind everyone, if you missed it, don't worry, it's recorded. And guess what? You can watch it and learn it. But Sarah does a fantastic presentation. I think we all agreed on that one. Sarah, on behalf, I'm going to say as chair of the outreach committee for the advisory council, I'd like to thank you so much for being here. And yes, I could see everyone's clapping for you here.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me. I hope you guys learned a lot. And please, like I said, reach out. We're here. Anything you guys need, questions around accessibility in general, complaints, please file them through 511 online. Reach out to me. If you have any complaints that you filed and you haven't heard back from or anything like that, you can reach out to me as well.
And I would actually agree with Sarah, because if you go onto the My MTA app, thanks to Sarah Myers, who also created that, and that does help to keep track of the reference numbers. Doesn't matter if you're from the subways, buses, Long Island Railroad, Metro North, whatever MTA division, that reference number does help you out very much. So please, everyone, let's do our part to keep MTA, the 21st century, even stronger. Thank you, Sarah, so much for being here. And please send regards to the whole entire system-wide accessibility. I think everyone will agree with me on this room.
Okay, sounds great.
Thank you, Sarah.
All right,
And
thanks.
let me start sharing screens.
All right, take care, everyone.
Thank you, Sarah. Now, at this moment in time, I'm going to ask Deborah to do her statewide report as I'm putting on my screen from here. Deborah, to chair the advisory council, is going to give her an update on 2 major issues.
Okay, morning, everyone. I'm going to make this brief because I know a lot of people have major announcements too. Just want you to know that the statewide will be meeting later this month. Sadly, it's the same time as the joint meeting. So I hope everyone go to our joint meeting. I will participate in both. Thank God for Video Land. But we are talking about the reimbursement, the attachments and you can read them through the LPWDD website and also the advisory council. Please check for what you feel about the reimbursement, possible new guidelines, and it's important for you to look and understand it. I also want to thank everybody who came to our last joint meeting when we had Maria Ortiz-Quesada from Medicaid, as well as we had Jennifer Schultz from HRA. Now, I have also asked them, and another time, if you want them to do other presentations, please let us know, because it's very important for everybody to understand who and what is your benefits for. It's extremely important. And why do I say that? Because if you don't, for the agencies who are the care coordinators, you need to really make sure that you help the families fill the forms out correctly. And parents, it is of course overwhelming, but you know what? After a while, you do get used to it. We will also we'll ask if Maria and or Jennifer or both can help us with train the families how to understand and answer those forms. I also will hope everybody will be at next week's meeting from the DD Council for the Family and Provider Information Committee. We will have Paola Martinez Boone. She will talk about guardianship, which is extremely important. And if anyone has any questions for me, ask me now, or I'm going to say
Scribe, you left out one other business.
And what was that?
The advisory council phone system.
Oh, yes. I have to make a formal apology to everyone. If you try to call us at 718-642-8512, it is down. We have spoken with Lucy O'Mazey, and she is working with the IT, and they're contacting Verizon to see what is going on. So if you need to contact us, try to do it through the email. We're still getting our emails. I know a lot of you have my cell number and Christopher, so you can contact us through that. But right now, we have to apologize, but it went down. We don't know why, and we are apologizing, but you can always email us in lowercase, B as in boy, F as in food, S as in son, S as in son, A as in apple, C as in cat at yahoo.com. So please leave us messages there. Please let everyone know in your circle, in your agency, that at the moment the the advisory council's phone number is down. Once we find out or get it fixed, we will let you know. You also can get updated information through the website for the advisory, which is www.bfssa I also wanted to say one more thing. For a long time, we were all participating in the MOPED, Mayor's Office of Persons with Disabilities, their monthly meeting. They have suspended it because Victor Khaleesi is no longer the commissioner there. And until they get a new person in, they have suspended the meetings. So don't get worried. Look, why didn't get contact? It's been suspended until they get a new commissioner for the New York City Department of Mobility People, Persons with Disabilities. MOPED. Okay, so please don't get upset. They want to make sure they're working with the new person, and we have not heard who's that person yet. And also, please, if you can, this is virtual, try going to your local community board meetings, as well as go to your local precinct council meetings. You will find very good information, but at the same time, they need to understand our population. So if you need any further information, please email us and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Thank you. Chris?
Does anyone have a question for Deborah before I go into my report? Okay.
Oh, I left one thing out. Yes, the budget has not been passed yet for the governor and the state assembly, state senate. Please make sure you contact your local officials and make
Your
sure.
state officials.
I said your local state assembly. Please let them know, as well as the governor, know how important our services are and that they need to always be funded correctly, especially the staff, direct care staff, that do a yeoman's job in taking care of our individuals. And that's that. Thank you.
Again, does anyone have a question for Deborah? Okay, then I'm going to move on to my report. To remind everyone, as Deborah mentioned again, the next meeting for the provider information, which is next Wednesday. That information is already on the website, email, and will be added to the Facebook page later on today. The next joint meeting is April 27th. Remind everyone that is the next meeting. And then our next outreach update is May 4th. I will not announce the speakers until the 27th, which will be that joint meeting. So we'll be mentioning that on that date. Hope everyone enjoyed the presentation today, who was on and who did commit to be here. I thank you, because some of this information is very important, because this information goes out to, helping all our families and individuals and staff, because it does help to know what they have to do in the near future coming up as well. Also, to remind everyone who's asking me this question for the last couple of days, remind you all, you still have to wear a mask on the subway, buses. If you're in outside stations, and I will use an example, if you're at an outside station when the train is outside, once you get off the train, you don't have to wear your mask. But once the train goes into a tunnel, which is an indoor station, you have to wear your mask until you leave the whole system, period. And to remind you, you must still wear your mask on the bus. That if the driver's not going to say it, Mr. Camera will say it. That means camera will tell you when you have to make sure that they will send you a fine. The fine is right now still $50. And remind you, if you don't pay your fare, combined with not wearing a mask, the fine is $150. Please do your part. If you don't, and remind everyone, you do not have to wear an N95 mask. This is a state and federal law. You can wear a washable mask or a blue paper mask. That could be from the hospital or the state office, which a lot of the states are using white washable mask. So please make sure you do that as well. And to remind everyone, if you have service openings, thank you for putting in the chat, but I do need it on the email to me, and then I can add it into the website. Now, I do want to thank some of our representative elected officials because they have sent me information. I do put that in not just onto the website, but also on Facebook. So I do thank you because it has been going out and sharing information. So before I do announcements, Anthony from Assemblywoman Matilda's office, do you have an announcement you'd like to add in?
I do not.
And I do want to thank you for being here. I know your other colleague is here. Want to thank her
Yes,
too.
she is. Yes, she is, Charlene.
Yeah,
Charlene
Charlene,
Batts.
thank you. You could please let her know we say thank you very much for both being there. And at least now you saw all that information you got today.
Yes, I did, and I took a lot of notes, so I will be updating the assembly member.
Yeah, and let her know this recording will be available later on tonight or right by tomorrow.
Okay, will do.
Yes. So just to let you know, does anyone have any questions for Anthony from representing Assemblywoman Matilda's office? Okay. Thank you, Anthony. We also, Dolores, you have a question? Because you saw you moved. Oh, okay. Before I do that, because Sara Thompson from Transit Museum is also here. So, Sara Thompson, how are you, number one? Sara Thompson from, okay. Oh,
Hi, Chris. I'm
now
good.
she's muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes?
I'm good, Chris. How are you?
Good. It's good to hear from you. Anything
Yes,
new in
you
the
too.
Transit Museum division?
No, we're still open Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to the public in downtown Brooklyn and still doing a lot of virtual programming throughout the week.
Yeah. And just letting you know that your information, everyone else has been asking me, it's available on the website. So everyone can check the events, training and event page that's been updated, and Transit Museum is there. Because some of you have been asking me that question. So I just want to let Sarah, and I know Matilda's office as well as information. When they have events, I made sure that was on too. So now I'm going to ask everyone who has an announcement, please have your hands ready. I know Dolores Khan's hands is up already. Go ahead, Dolores. But I can't hear you.
You hear me?
Yes.
Hi, my name is Doris Khan, and I'm the outreach coordinator for New York State Institute on Disability. We're a family support service agency. We have openings for evaluations for individuals who are looking to apply for eligibility OPWDD, for individuals who do not have Medicaid and live in Queens, Brooklyn, Bronx, and Staten Island. Please call Elizabeth Sunshine at 917-699-0578. We also offer crisis management services for families living in Brooklyn, Bronx, and Queens. Contact Juliet Hawkins at 917-524-4856. We also have reimbursement for goods, services, and camps to individuals that reside in the 5 boroughs. For information, you can call Jackie Tripodi at 929-202-1115. We, now that some venues have opened for in-person visits, we have tickets to venues for individuals and their families. For information about what venues are open and what you can get tickets to, call Sarah Alton at 718-494-6457. If you reside in Brooklyn, Bronx, and Staten Island, we can offer free transportation to these recreational outings. Our transportation service also includes free transportation for medical appointments. For more information, call John O'Grady at 747-9424. I put their contact information, both their phone numbers and email addresses in the chat. Thank you. And if I don't get to next week's meeting, I want to wish everyone now a very happy holiday.
Yes,
Thank you.
happy Pesach. Just remember, Dolores, please be careful with those sharp corners.
Enjoy Pesach. Have a good Pesach.
Thank you. And everybody have a happy Passover and happy Easter.
And anybody celebrating Ramadan,
Ramadan.
a happy Ramadan.
Should be peaceful.
Yes, we want every
Peaceful and
holiday to
happy
be peaceful.
celebration. Right.
Okay. Thank you, Doris. Thank you.
Okay, let me check. Wayne Clark from My Time Inc. Do you have an announcement? Wayne. You're hiding from me, sir? Okay. Does anyone else have an announcement? Okay. Sarah Thompson, since you're still here, do you have any additional announcement you want to add in?
I do not have any announcements at this time.
But there is a question on the chat for you. It's in the private channel, sorry. Sarah, the question is some people have been asking me this question. There is a two-part question. One, in the transit stores, are you guys selling still the Mass Force shirts or whatever type of it?
I haven't looked around the store to be able to say what we're currently selling. I would have to check on our website.
And the second one is the OMNY shirts.
I don't think we have any OMNY shirts.
Yeah, I don't think they're selling them at this time also because I know I have one. I'm wearing one right now, which I'm sorry I'm not moving because I'm on a different laptop today. But the other question is the virtual programs, and I will say this to everyone because I know I'm going to say this in front of you, Sarah. That information is available on our website. So please, everyone who wants to know about the virtual stuff, they can visit our website on the training and event page. And Sarah's group always sends us that information every month. So thank you, Sarah, on that.
You're welcome. Yes. And you can always visit nytransitmuseum.org and see what the upcoming programs are there as well to register for them.
Yes. Sarah, there is one question coming in. Are you guys still doing the bus fleet thing routine again?
At this time, I haven't heard anything about Bus Festival. So I don't think we'll be doing that this year.
And I know someone's asking about the holiday train. That is way too early. We know we did it last year. It went, I'm just going to say, okay. That's what I'm going to say, Sarah. I think you agree with me. We'll plead the fifth.
Yes, okay. Yeah, we'll have to see what we're able to run also in the system this year. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you.
Okay. Wayne Clark, are you still with us or you're hiding from me? Whoever's wearing Wayne's name. Okay. Since no one else has an announcement or any questions or comments at this time, on behalf of the Advisory Council Outreach Update, and remind everyone to agencies who are here or represented, if you have events that are coming up by next week or 2 weeks from now, please email us to the advisory email but before this Friday so I can update the website, which I remind everyone, I do not update the website until Friday. So please make sure you email us that information. Therefore, we're all set and updated for next week's website. The website is always updated every week. So I'm just going to remind everyone, on behalf of both counts, on behalf of the Brooklyn Advisory Council Subcommittee of the Outreach Update, I want to thank you. And please, everyone, happy Easter, happy Passover. Hope to see everyone. As Sarah just put on the chat, Sarah Thompson put it in. Please visit the transitmuseum.com/appa/app adult teen adults how to wear, which is available on the link. You can link it and click on it and enjoy the information, or just go into the Transit Museum store. Thank you, everyone, for being here today. Hope to see everyone here next week on our a really great provider information committee. So everyone have a great day. Thank you, everyone.